Hi, everybody. My name is Jim McBride. I'm the Charleston City Council of District 3, and I wanted to share with you something that I'm asking for your help to let the county know what we need on Johns and James Island, particularly Johns Island. So the topic is, this is episode 4, February 28th, 2024, episode 4. You can see my other episodes that give some background on some of the things we're talking about today. But the topic today is Charleston County's 2024 half-cent sales tax infrastructure referendum, which will be on the ballot this November. And public comments are due to the county by 6 March. I'm going to explain how to make those comments and where to go, and I'm going to give some background on what this is. So this is the third Charleston County infrastructure sales tax. There's 2 other ones that have been implemented. The most recent one is 2016, which we're still living under. The county's still doing some infrastructure projects from 2016 and even some from, I think it was 2004, I think was the first one. On Johns Island, some of the infrastructure projects that the 2016 sales tax paid for are the Main and 17 flyover, for example, as well as some improvements at the Main and Maybank intersection, which have not been started yet, and down Main and Bohicket. So that money exists, and those projects will start soon, and I'll do a video on that later on. But just to give a little bit of background. So the county is looking for public input, and the more public input that we put from those of us in District 3, the more potentially they'll prioritize the projects that we need on Johns and James Island. Again, particularly Johns Island, a lot of the bottlenecks on Johns Island that we struggle with every day, such as the Maybank and River intersection in particular, which there's been some improvements there, opening on 25 March. The Northern Pitchfork will open, and that's a big benefit. But we need to fund other projects, which we'll talk about in a second. First, I want to show you how to go to the website. So it's right here, roads.charlestoncounty.org/TST3. That stands for Transportation Sales Tax 3, the third transportation sales tax. So roads.charlestoncounty.org/TST3. And then you can see, when you go there, you can see here the Johns James Island projects. You can click on that to see some of the projects that they have on the list, and I'll go through those momentarily. And then to make your comments and submit them, you click on comment form. So that's where you actually put in your comments that the county will see and collate and put together and help them prioritize the projects. Because again, this is not just for Johns and James Island, this is for all of Charleston County. So there's projects all around Charleston County that need to be done, and we need the county to hear our needs on Johns Island and James Island. Comments are due by 6 March. That's why I want to get this video out as soon as possible. Okay, so this is all county material that I'm putting out here for everybody to see. So this is kind of the overview of the projects that this sales tax, if it passes this November, would potentially fund. So you can see here the legend. Priority project is the blue line here, which is the Mark Clark extension, which would cost about $2 billion. And the sales tax is estimated to raise over its lifetime $5.4 billion with a B, and $2 billion of that approximately would be for the Mark Clark extension. The other $3.4 billion would be for infrastructure projects like we need on Johns Island. So the yellow lines or orange lines are potential project locations. As you can see here on the map, I'm going to zoom in on the Johns and James Island area here. So stand by for that. There you go. So zoomed in. So Mark Clark extension, there's the Stono River. And you can see the bridge going on to James Island. This is Johns Island to the bottom left of your screen. So for reference, when the county's talking about Maybank Western improvements and Eastern improvements, Maybank Highway improvements, east and west. East are mostly the improvements pretty much from the intersection of Maybank and River to the Stono River Bridge. That's the eastern Maybank improvements. Western Maybank improvements are pretty much the west of Maybank going down towards Main and Bohicket Road, just for context. So they're not showing on here things like the pitchforks because this is just a general overview, but they're obviously aware of the pitchforks. The Northern Pitchfork is being completed here in March. Southern Pitchfork is not funded yet, so this is one of the things that could be funded. So let me talk about that for a second. So Eastern Maybank improvements would include things like the Southern Pitchfork. So if you don't know, the Northern Pitchfork is being built. It's almost open from the Fenwick Hall LE light over, oops, down here, sorry, from the Fenwick Hall LE light over to River Road to the north of Maybank. That's where all that construction on River Road is being done, is for that road to be completed. That'll be open about 25 March. Okay, the Southern Pitchfork will generally mirror the Northern Pitchfork. It's not funded yet. It is planned, but it's not funded, and it would come to the south of Maybank, to the southern part of River Road. Okay, that would help alleviate a lot of traffic, add some more lanes to take pressure off this intersection of Maybank and River. There's also potential plans to widen Maybank from the current 3 lanes between River and the bridge to 4 lanes. So as everyone is painfully aware, going off Johns Island to James Island, especially in the morning, is really painful because it merges to 1 lane. There is a plan the county has to expand it, and the state to expand it to an extra lane going off the island, making the total lanes from 3 to 4 lanes. Again, not funded yet. This sales tax could fund that if we make our voices heard. Okay, so here is the general breakdown of potential distributions. This is from the county. Mark Clark extensions, you can see there, almost $2 billion. I heard that price has gone up above $2 billion, but this is what they have right now. Just under $2 billion on here. Then you can see the breakdown for other projects, Greenbelt program, carryover needs from the second 2016 transportation sales tax. They still need about $280 million to finish those projects. There's some CARTA funding. There's bike and pedestrian intersection things. Remember, this is all around Charleston County. Debt service and interest, $750 million. And the new potential projects about $800 million. So that's the breakdown. Again, potential distributions for a total of, as you can see here, $5.4 billion. Okay, this is what the county currently has. And again, this is a general broad brush overview. It's not detailed. But if you look at Johns Island, talks about Maybank Highway Improvements, the western portion, which we talked about, which is all of Maybank, basically west of River Road. And then the eastern portion between River Road and the Stono River Bridge. Potential bicycle pedestrian accommodations, but the focus here is we're talking about the Southern Pitchfork and expansion of Maybank to 4 lanes. So you have an extra lane going off the island. And these James Island improvements here are not in District 3, but I wanted to put them on here because we do have some James Island folks in District 3. And this would impact all of us, frankly, because this helps all of us that are traveling on James Island. You got Harbor View road improvements, and Folly Road bike pedestrian improvements, which I'll show you in a second again here. So there's the Folly Road bike pedestrian improvements, Harbor View road improvements. So again, that's the blue line Mark Clark Extension, Yellow Line, Maybank. That's what this infrastructure sales tax could fund. And even if it does fund, the county has to prioritize sequentially over time which ones are going to be worked on first. Of course, we want, and I want, our projects to be funded, prioritized first because of the crazy traffic we have on Johns Island and the rapid developments we need. I'm going to argue strongly and have been arguing strongly that we need to prioritize improvements on Johns Island. And again, if you can see my cursor down here at the bottom tip of the Maybank yellow line, that's already funded for improvements at that intersection at Main and Maybank and along Main Road. And as I think most people know, by the end of this year, the 17 and Main flyover will commence. So that's funded. That will start being built this year. This is the proposed timeline for the county. So they've already been doing some public hearings on this around Charleston County. I've gone to 3 of them. I just had the last one, I think, earlier this week. They're getting public input right now. That's what this is, March 24. That's what we're talking about. Incorporating the input that we give them. And then in April, they narrow down the list of potential projects. And then May, June, and July, they do the first, second, and third readings at the county council to vote on the projects that will be prioritized. So again, go to roads.charlestoncounty.org/TST3. If you want to see the projects that I just talked about, click on John's James Island projects. And to, most importantly, go to the comment form right there. Put in your comments of what you need, what you believe we need on Johns and James Island for the county to prioritize. Again, comments are due by 6 March. That's it for now. Please go to votejimMcbride.com and you can see this and other videos as I add them to the list. If you go to episode 1, you'll see some background information as to all the roads on Johns and James Island and who's in charge of them and how a little bit how that works. You'll also see who our representatives are at the county level and the state level for the state and county districts that overlap District 3, Johns and James Island. Again, my name is Jim McBride. Thanks very much.